Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the parabolic shift throughout the market that we are pretty much ranging into. I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about some concerning factors with Hbar, and really kind of talking to you guys about, all of these assets, as well as, some main focus points to really kind of watch for throughout the market. So with that being said, if you guys are an Hbar holder or just, you guys love crypto content, definitely hit that like button. Comment down below your favorite holding. Could be Hbar by itself, also why it is. Also hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on, as it does help the channel grow. Now we're going to refresh the market, just kind of see what's happening here. So we do see that Bitcoin is kind of ranging around 3.18%. It hasn't moved too much in the last 7 days. We also see the market cap is still ranging around the $2.34 trillion mark, up about 2.59%. Nothing too crazy in that aspect. We actually see some altcoins kind of moving a little bit, like BNB, up about 6.80% on the 7-day span. Fairly interesting to see. Most altcoins aren't moving too much. We did see Polkadot kind of doing some parabolic moves, up about 25.61% on the 7-day span compared to Bitcoin. Looks like it decoupled just a little bit, but I wouldn't be too, focused on that just yet. Overall, the market looks fairly good in terms of a stability standpoint. We do see XLM is up about 7.98%. That is very good to see. But overall, when we look at Hbar, not too much movement. We are up about 3.17%, but we are still down 7.8 or 7.10% on the 7-day span. So overall, I'm more so concerned about the volume. The volume traded between Hbar in the last 7 days has been about $3.5 billion, which is fairly good to see. On the 24-hour span, though, we are down about 24.42%. So not a lot of attention on Hbar. As we do move up, though, we bounced off of some significant support down here at about 34 cents on the 1 day. On the 7-day, we bounced off of my nice little juicy buy point at around 32 cents. And looks fairly good. Now, I didn't buy any Hbar on this dip. In fact, I actually bought Stack, as I told you guys. Now, we are going to be talking about Hbar if we could see a little bit more of a dip happening. Again, we are going to be talking about Bitcoin as well. So when we are talking about the USD chart, looks fairly good to have bounced off of that nice buy zone that you guys see down here at around 30 some cents. It might have not even have bounced off of that on the 4-hour span. Things look a little bit different because Binance, this is coming from Binance. Binance has a little bit of a scam wick problem that happens a lot on their, exchange. But overall, when we're talking about this, we bounced between some solid support at around the 31.5 to about roughly about 33.5, which I've mentioned 33 cents is a very strong point. Every single time that we break down below this, we quickly re-grasp it, and we did just see that happen just recently. Now, on the USD pair, I'm not too, excited in regards to anything on this. I don't really care for the USD pair because we already know where we want to be. We want to be back up in this point here, actually a little bit above it. This would be the solid point. If we actually look at this, this could be, one second, let me put that back. Let me move the rectangle up. So realistically speaking, we actually want to be up in this point here, because this is that solid point where we could say, all right, now we're going to retest a high, because then we could break out of the original all-time high at around 46 cents and then pretty much target the current all-time high. Now, in regards to this, like I said, I'm not really focused on the USD pair, and you guys might be wondering, well, why aren't you focused on the USD pair? Isn't it the most important part? No. For anybody who is new to this channel, always watch the Bitcoin pairs. The Bitcoin pairs is what will tell us the USD pair is ready to pretty much launch in price. All of these price movements here pretty much accommodate for the USD pair moves. Right now, we actually want to be back up in here, and I pretty much have this little drawing here. I know that this is not a Picasso drawing, but overall, this is what I think is going to be happening, where we pretty much bounce off of this solid support zone and range higher. I think that this is what we have been waiting to see. I've mentioned multiple times on my Twitter, we're waiting for that reversal that will allow for our USD pair to go parabolic. Right now, if we look at the inverted scale, which I've been showing you guys the inverted scale for a while now throughout this week, it looks like it's hitting some resistance here, or if you will, support on the negative aspect of things, and it could bounce off of this like we did back here and pretty much retest a little bit lower. that wouldn't be too bad of a move, and it would actually bring Hbar down into the solid buy point at around 27 to 30 cents. We would watch for that, obviously. I mean, listen, nobody should be shorting this. Nobody should be selling Hbar. I'm just saying, if you wanted to get a better buy point, you could be waiting, but you also run the risk of, waiting for something that's never going to happen. I'm just going to be, 100% honest with you. But overall, that wouldn't be too bad of a thing if we bounced off of this, hit some resistance, because even on the 4-hour span, which we always watch for on the 4-hour span, look at what's happening on this Bitcoin pair, right? We retested that solid resistance point once back here. Well, actually almost twice. This was almost a test of it as well. Bounced off of it, rejected. This was a hard rejection, by the way, just so you guys know, because if we look here on the price, this was roughly about an 11% rejection, almost 12%. If we actually go down here, it's 12.30%. But we bounced off of this once, twice already. Again, rejected a little bit. Now we have some little bit of strength happening here, but it's nothing too, in my opinion, alarming. It's not like a major, shift in terms of volume or strength. So I'm still fairly bearish on Hbar in the short-term aspect until we get to a nice little, juicy point. For an example, where we want to actually be before we hit that nice spot up here is between around this point up here, right? We want to be back at the 750 sat level because that tells us that Hbar actually has a lot of strength in it. Now, of course, when we look at the macro timeframes, for an example, the 1 hour, we could actually see us retesting that resistance point multiple times here. First off, we retested this now 3 times back here, rejected off of it. That's what, pretty much led us to this massive rejection down here. And again, when we're talking about on the 1 hour, we already retested this 4 times. So this is fairly weak overall in terms of resistance. Every single time that we retest this gets weaker, but the same goes for, support down here. If we retest this multiple times, we will eventually break down below it. So right now, what I'm watching for is us to retest that, resistance point multiple times to actually officially break out of it. And that will allow us to actually move fairly fast because this actually isn't resistance here. This was just a point where I could see, possibly a little bit of a reversal. The real point of reversal was actually down here. This is where we would see that nice little, spot of support, which would allow us to have this parabolic shift that allowed us to go to the all-time high. So realistically speaking, what I'm actually waiting for is something like this, okay? This is what I want to see, something like this. And when we're talking about that in regards to a little bit of a bars graph, because I didn't mean to do the ghost graph, but this is basically what I want to see. Something similar to this, where we get back to that all-time high. It could even be on a little bit of a macro time frame, like something like this, where we don't even get to the all-time high just yet, but we retest this multiple times, somehow getting to the point where, we're back into this major demand zone, and then from here we pretty much make our own moves and go to the all-time high plus. That's what I'm waiting for. That is the parabolic shift that we are actually waiting for on Hbar. So right now, what we really want to see is just altcoins get some more strength opposed to Bitcoin. But right now, the reason why we had this nice jump yesterday on Hbar is because when we're looking at Bitcoin, and let's actually zoom in here on Bitcoin itself, we had that nice little drop in price. Now, this wasn't anything crazy, and it wasn't even, to be honest with you, it wasn't even to my point of major, a pullback, right? This was roughly around a 6.83% of a pullback, which is nothing. I personally wanted to see us come down to here, which is still possible. It still is, and we're going to be talking about why. But overall, this was a minimal move in the market. But we do see that once this lost some strength, and we did see Bitcoin dominance kind of drop down a little bit yesterday as well to a low of about 44.89%. That's when altcoins will gain strength. I just want to show you guys this chart again from yesterday that I talked to you guys a little bit about, but we do see here, right? When Bitcoin dominance decreases with Bitcoin decreasing, look at what happens. We either remain stable, but I also, you also see a lot of strength kind of moving towards alts. For an example, if Bitcoin dominance was dropping like it did yesterday, and then Bitcoin kind of came back and grabbed some strength and retested this high, which is what we did this one here. Decreases, increases, alt season. Now that doesn't mean that alt season was going to happen yesterday or anything like that. Just to clarify, no, But all season will happen when that happens, when that actually occurs, which this will happen most likely around the macro timeframes of the 2017-2018 bull run that we've been talking to you guys about a lot in the Discord. If we actually look at where we are currently, right now I have that circled point where we could see that nice parabolic shift throughout the market. This is around the October timeframe, right? This is where, Bitcoin started to do a parabolic move and actually retest the all-time high. That actually happened on October 9th, or the week of October 9th. So realistically speaking, it was around the October 16th timeframe. Now we do see our October 16th, 1 week, this was doing parabolic moves. Now we did see that nice pullback in November of roughly about 30.82%. I'm still expecting November to be our parabolic shift throughout the market, but I also think that by the end of this month, we will see Bitcoin kind of range on into a nice parabolic shift. Now, overall, when we're talking about altcoins, I'm not expecting altcoins to make their new all-time highs until around the end or into the start of December. So the end of November into December is when most altcoins will really start their runs. Of course, a lot of altcoins will run beforehand. For an example, Solana and stuff, they will do parabolic moves beforehand, which we will obviously watch for and wait to see. But right now, what we really kind of want to see is something where Bitcoin dominance decreases while Bitcoin either remains stable or increases, which is most likely what we seen yesterday with the decrease in Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin kind of hitting stable, and it increased just a little bit. So, that's why altcoins were kind of jumping around just so much yesterday. But right now, we are still seeing Bitcoin dominance on the macro time frame on the 4-hour span, right? We see that it hit some, resistance up here, somewhere around the 46.72% zone, rejected off of that. It's actually around more so 46.5%, but we rejected off of that. We retested it twice, rejected it, hard rejection, hit resistance again at around 45.77%, and now we're kind of just retesting somewhere around here, which is fairly good because that means Bitcoin dominance is most likely going to range a little bit lower here unless it breaks out of this resistance point and retest this resistance. So right now what we want to see is Bitcoin dominance drop while Bitcoin retests this all-time high. It's not even the all-time high, it's actually just a high that we made just recently. I apologize for that, but overall, when we're talking about Bitcoin, the reason why I'm a little bit skeptical on that high being hit and actually broken is because we retested it multiple times. Let's go to the macro time frame on the hour to really kind of see that. So right now, I'm watching this 47.8K point very, very closely, as we haven't been able to break out of it, and we've actually retested it multiple times. This whole zone up here is just, it's shakiness for Bitcoin. This is where a lot of weakness actually happens with Bitcoin. We see there's a lot of resistance, not so much at that topping point up here, but the resistance actually comes around this point at around 47.5K. It does not like that point at all. Look at how many times we retested it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Actually, technically 7 times. So that's getting weaker and weaker and weaker every time that we retest it. But look at what happened down here. We retested this support multiple times, even going back before we jumped out of this. So right now, we are battling the idea of a weak support and a weak resistance, but we are closer to resistance than support right now. So overall, what we want to see is Bitcoin retest this high up here, okay, break out of that channel and retest somewhere around the $59,000 to $61,000 level, pretty much ranging for the $63,000 mark. That's what we want to see. But in regards to the overall market, things still look very good for, the November, December, and January timeframe for a lot of altcoins, and Hbar is no different. Hbar will experience a parabolic shift very soon. We just need this to gain some strength. How does, altcoins, Bitcoin pairs gain some strength? Well, it's very simple. Bitcoin dominance drops, volume starts pouring out of Bitcoin into altcoins, still allowing Bitcoin to run a little bit higher, but also allowing altcoins to run. Now, the key thing here is the fact that the altcoin market cap has been gaining some strength. This is excluding Bitcoin, of course. Now, we have been gaining some strength, and we actually bounced off of the 702 perfectly. We actually tested this multiple times down here. But now we are almost back in this demand zone that I wanted to be back in, which is the 786 And right now, we're actually kind of breaking up a little bit above it. I want to see this actually break up even above this high up here at $1.36 trillion. And I want to see us break above that, retest the high up here at around $1.5 trillion and really kind of gain some strength up there. That's pretty much the validation point of alt season being here. And that will most likely happen by around the November-December timeframe. So basically, what I'm saying is watch for November, watch for December. We don't have to wait too much longer for some parabolic shifts to happen. Like I said, on the way to those months, Hbar will most likely be retesting the highs. It will probably be at $1 plus by that point, and I'm expecting $1 plus by the middle to the end of November. So, right now we just have to watch the market we have to watch it validate or invalidate moves, because it seems like right now there's a lot of money flowing into, Bitcoin and some other altcoins right now, but not a lot of, these other gems that we've been holding. We've been seeing a few altcoins pumping. Hbar is no different though. Hbar will get some more strength in it at some point in time and really kind of get to the point where a lot of people are happy with it. Trust me, I am right there with you guys. I'm waiting myself. So, right now I'm just watching a lot of these factors play a part into the idea of alt season, happening and coming here very fast, because we're talking about, 2 months away. We are 2 months away from life-changing wealth. So, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys do want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. If you guys do want more content like my exit strategies and all that kind of stuff, you guys could definitely check out NCashOfficial.com. But with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.